Good morning, everyone. Special welcome to Matthew Ray, our MPP. Matthew usually brings big checks. This morning he brought a big train. So also a special welcome to Minister Sarkaria, a Minister of Transportation. It's a beautiful morning, and you know, the statement this morning reminds me of the statement, good things come to those who wait. Or as I just had the song from the Pointer Sisters, I'm so excited. So it's a little bit like Christmas. Last night I didn't sleep a whole lot, hoping that what I'd wanted would arrive this morning. So once again, thank you. I'll start by saying these things don't happen without great conversation, great delegations, and great collaboration. Collaboration with the provincial government, with Via Rail, with GO, with CN, and the City of Stratford. So thank you for those individuals all involved with the collaboration. Standing here, I'm reminded of the significance of rail in Stratford, both passenger and freight. Not too far from here, we have the locomotive shops, the former Grand Trunk Railway shops. In 1959, the Queen Elizabeth II stood here and brought greetings to the city of Stratford. I'm also reminded of the fact that we're a few meters away from a transit hub that features Stratford Transit, a transit hub that features PC Connect, a Flix bus, and a few steps away from Via and now GO. So a lot to celebrate. I think about the impact of what we're doing here today, the impact on our individuals that work here in Stratford and then commute to Toronto, to the GTA. I think about the students that come to Stratford for education and go beyond Stratford for education. I think about our tourists. Our tourists are 1.7 million tourists that love coming to Stratford and frequently love to come by train. I think of also our environment. Our job is to reduce greenhouse gases, and this is a way to do it. Also reducing the congestion on our roads, especially our 400 series. I think about transit, and last week or 2 weeks ago going to a delegation two delegations at Good Roads. Monday I took Flixbus, Tuesday I took Via, but it went to Woodstock to grab that train. So here it is here today. So it's with many, many, many positive thoughts and thanks that I present to you Minister Sarkaria, to you today, to tell you about what we're doing and how it's going to unfold in Stratford. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much, Mayor Ritsma, for your kind introduction. And it's great to be here in Stratford with MPP Ray. I got to give him a special shout out as well, because he's been a huge advocate for not only this project, but anytime we're speaking to Matt about his community at Queen's Park. He's a fearless advocate, and he leaves everything on the table. It also helps that he's the whip, and so if I don't listen to him, I'm going to be stuck in the house for all my house duties. So no, but he's just the most wonderful person, and we're so lucky to have him at Queen's Park, and I think the community as well. And that's why we're delivering on big accomplishments and projects like we are here today. So Matt, thank you for all your work and your advocacy on this. And couldn't do this without the CEO of Metrolinx, Michael Lindsay, who is here today. He's been transformational in moving this project forward and the entire Kitchener line. What you're going to see the plans that we have in place and the announcements we've made just recently, it is significant with respect to the amount of work that is going to happen and how we're going to transform the Kitchener line and all of our GO expansion plans. Also, a pleasure to be joined by so many councillors here, Deputy Mayor Nidger, Jody. I remember all of the conversations at our AMO table with the Mayor, Deputy Mayor Nidger, as well as Jody. You guys have been incredibly relentless, and it works. And when you go to AMO, you advocate. You guys have been incredible. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you, and I'm so excited that all of the advocacy from the Mayor to the local councillors has brought us to this position today, and also councillors Bien, Beatty, Burbach, McCabe, and Wardofa, all of you. Thank you for your advocacy on this, and Stratford Festival Executive Director Anita Gaffney as well. We know how important tourism is. The Mayor just touched on it as well, and this is going to significantly improve the way people can get to Stratford and use our GO transit systems across our network. You know, under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government is making historic investments in transit to build a stronger, more resilient and self-reliant economy. We're protecting Ontario by tackling gridlock, connecting communities and people to opportunity, and making it faster and easier to get to where you need to go. And today, we're delivering on that great news for this city. Starting July 6th, our government is extending GO train service to Stratford. The Kitchener line will offer year-round service between Stratford and Toronto, giving commuters traveling to work and school a morning trip from Stratford to Union Station on weekdays with a return trip in the afternoon. On weekends, it will support visitors traveling to Stratford with a morning trip from Union Station and a return trip in the evening. Service to and from Stratford Station will also include stops in Kitchener, Guelph, Acton, Georgetown, and Brampton. This is a game changer for commuters, for visitors, and for this city. It will make it easier for people to get to work and school. It will make it easier for Ontarians and visitors to come to Stratford to take in a show at the Stratford Festival, stroll through Shakespeare's Gardens, and enjoy the shops, restaurants, and attractions that make this city so special. This new service will help drive economic growth in Stratford for years to come. It will strengthen connections across southwestern Ontario, and it will make life easier for the thousands of people who live here and visit this city every single year. Public transit is a key driver of our economy and our quality of life, and that's why under Premier Ford we are investing $70 billion in the largest transit expansion in North American history and the largest subway expansion in Canadian history. We've invested in more than $14 billion to deliver faster, more frequent service across the GO Transit network. Our GO expansion program will deliver two-way all-day service on GO Transit's busiest rail routes. And our GO extensions will bring new service to communities in Durham region, and Kitchener-Waterloo, Hamilton, and Niagara. We recently launched the first ever weekend service between Toronto and Kitchener and added new weekday express trips and more frequent weekend service on other GO lines. And today we're taking the next step, bringing year-round GO train service to Stratford. This is a great day for Stratford and a great day for southwestern Ontario. We're proud to be here to mark this milestone with the people and community partners who helped make it possible. And we're going to keep doing the work to protect Ontario by extending fast, reliable, affordable transit to more communities across this province. With that said, I'd now like to turn it over to MPP Ray, who's been an incredible champion for this project.
Thank you. Thanks, Minister Sarkaria, for being here today. I don't have to worry about Minister Sarkaria in the House. He's one of the good ones in our government caucus. But this is a great day for Stratford and really Perth County and the town of St. Mary's as well. We're bringing the GO train service back to Stratford, and it's permanent, everyone. Permanent. I want to thank Ontario's Minister of Transportation, the Honourable Prabmeet Sarkaria, for being here today, but really for his leadership advancing transit across the province. He mentioned the significant investments we're making in the GTA, the Golden Horseshoe, but really, if you look at what we're spending across this province to improve transit in northern communities and rural communities like Stratford and surrounding areas, it really is a testament to his leadership and Premier Ford's leadership. Today's announcement about Ontario bringing back GO train service to Stratford is more than just about transit. It's about improving how people move to work and to opportunities. It's about supporting local businesses, strengthening tourism, and helping communities continue to grow. Our government is making historic investments, over $70 billion, to expand and improve transit infrastructure across Ontario. Because when we improve how people move, we strengthen our economy and the communities that they call home. This year-round service will improve access to jobs, tourism, the Stratford Festival, Destination Stratford, Lights on Stratford, and they have a great lineup this coming year with a focus on Canadian artists. And it really is a testament to the community coming together. Mayor Ritsma and almost the entire council is here today, and it's wonderful to see them here. It's been great to be able to work with all of them. I just want to recognize as well, Invest Stratford is here, Destination Stratford, Stratford Festival, obviously, and many, many community members. And so thank you, all of you, for joining me this morning as well. Thanks, everyone.
We'll now go to questions. If reporters could line up at the microphone behind me, please identify yourselves by name and outlet, and it will be one question, one follow-up. First question.
Minister, thank you for being here today and taking my questions. Jeff Outfit from the Waterloo Region Record. I'm going to take you back a little bit to a different event, January 26th in Kitchener, which is a tragic day when two vehicles were ejected off the highway in Kitchener because they climbed up over the snow ramps that had been packed by the snow. One of those crashes was fatal, the second crash. There's been, the police blame the drivers, but a lot of members of the public are concerned about the way the snow was cleared, and particularly the way the snow was not cleared between the first crash and the second crash by the contractors your ministry has hired. So I want to ask you if you believe that the snow clearing on that highway was appropriate and carried out properly, and if you feel it was a mistake not to clear the snow between the first crash and the second crash, which was fatal. The first crash was not fatal, second crash was fatal.
Thank you for the question, and a very tragic event. Can't begin to think what the families are going through in that circumstance, and so my deepest sympathy and condolences to that family. A very tragic accident, and as I said, we work with our snow clearing contractors every single day to ensure that we have the safest policies in place. We saw some record snowfall that occurred across our highway systems. When we look at the ramps, the one in question, there was a pileup of the snow on the side. And there's a variety of things that we can unpack from that incident. We've 100% got to be more vigilant in ensuring that we are slowing down as we go through some of these areas when the weather conditions are such. We're looking back at that incident, unpacking it with our contractors and seeing how we can improve upon the clearing standards or the clearing of snow removal, which was piled up across those ramps. And that's something that we're going to continue to work with our contractors on, not just in that part, but across all of our highways on the 400 series. So we're taking that very seriously. We're making sure that our teams are looking at it and making sure that it never happens again.
Okay, a follow-up question. I have been trying to get information from your ministry about this collision, unpacking it in my own way. It's been like pulling teeth. The ministry has refused to release any information, including information it used to release publicly and openly all the time about the anti-icing technology that exists on that bridge. We don't even know if it was working that day. The ministry won't say. I've filed freedom of information requests. I've received nothing. I wanted to ask you if, and this I'm reflecting some public concern here as well, if the secrecy that your ministry is practicing around this collision reflects a decision to prioritize concern about liability ahead of transparency and accountability.
Look, we, as a ministry, as the minister, we hold our teams to a high account. We expect the safest operations from any of our contractors, and where there is wrongdoing, as the minister, we will ensure that the contractor is held liable for that. Now, there's various parts to an investigation that will incur, whether that's through law enforcement. We will cooperate in every way, shape, or form. If there's civil lawsuits that follow, we will absolutely follow through with any obligations to work through that. But any incident that involves a casualty, a death, across our highway network, we will work very closely to ensure that that can be avoided in the future, unpack that, and where contractors need to be held accountable, we will do so. And from a ministerial perspective, overview, look at ways that we can overview and implement new processes and procedures to ensure that doesn't happen again as well.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Galen Simmons, Grand Haven Media. The last time the GO train came to Stratford, I seem to remember ridership was an issue, specifically to do with the time of day the train was coming to Stratford, very early in the morning, and then you'd have to leave Toronto, I think it was around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which didn't work for a lot of people when it comes to work schedules. How is this, expansion of the GO train different from the last time?
Well, look, there's a lot of variables that will go into any time where they're introducing new service. Whether it's this specific location that we're doing today, but ultimately what Michael, and I'll have him speak to this as well, what our goal is to build an integrated system across the entire network in the entire province. This is a really important first step, and this is a commitment from our team at GO Transit and Metrolinx to ensure that we have a presence here, that we can continue to build towards increasing ridership. And one of the things that I'm most excited about this station on is the surrounding region, the southwestern Ontario, how many people it has the potential to serve. And so building upon that, along with the success of the Kitchener line, we've seen in just the last couple of years, the ridership just skyrocket. And we believe that that's going to translate into stations like Stratford as well. And we're going to continue to work with rail partners, as you see behind us, in this specific location, to expand the access to this corridor and to passengers that will use it from here. But I'm going to ask Michael to also go into that into a bit detail as he's overseeing this and speak to some of those concerns.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be here. I have to tell you before answering the question, I've had the opportunity to describe a lot of services that Metrolinx provides to my 4 children. This was the first time that they insisted that they ride the first train out to a jurisdiction. We come at least, Mayor, 3-4 times a year to take in shows at the Stratford Festival. So count myself not only as involved, but a user of the service that we're talking about. Sir, to your question. Initial service profile on weekdays will absolutely be for commuters, and therefore it's going to look a little bit like it did last time. Train's going to leave here at 6:16 a.m. That's the projection, and it's going to get you into Union Station before 9. You're going to leave around 5. The rush hour will get you back here sort of around 7:30. We will continuously evaluate what ridership looks like and take customer feedback as to how it is that's going. But for what it's worth, that's a profile of service, even if you just go to Toronto and think about when people are typically riding trains in and out of Union Station, that seems to work. I think we're projecting more than 16,000 riders a year here at this station. And for what it's worth, I see nothing but upside in that number. Weekend, slightly different, not as early in the morning. This is all about thinking about how we get people to events in Toronto so that they can spend the day there and that people in Toronto can come here and spend the day in events. But I'd simply say I think we're really excited about the ridership profile and projections that we've got.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Hussam, CJCS Radio. In terms of bringing this train and, you know, like having it like return, from my understanding that this train was like used for Stratford and within like the southwestern area years ago, and you guys are bringing it back, you're expanding it for the summer. Can you tell us a bit, this could go to anybody, to like, what was it that prompted the idea of having this expansion back here, and you know, the process to making changes to, you know, and respond to concerns from like ridership and that sort of ordeal? Just like what the process was like bringing this back.
A variety of reasons. The interest and the desire from the residents here. You know, as I spoke to, you know, we love to go to our AMO delegations, and I can tell you the team from Stratford, from the mayor to the councillors here, the deputy mayor, everyone was so excited about this, so passionate about it, and that really matters, I think. And a local champion like Matt as well pushing this project, but we truly believe, like, you know, the mayor said, you get over 1.7 million people that visit this city in a year. How do we then also leverage public transit in that equation? And we have one of the most expansive public transit expansions in all of North America, and this is a really cool part of it, because so many people can get to Stratford now using public transit, connect into one of the largest cities in all of North America, which is Toronto. But it's not just that. It's, you know, somebody from this region, Stratford, or in southwestern Ontario, wanting to go to a Blue Jays game on the weekend. It makes, you know, you can go to Toronto, you can have a lunch, you can visit the city, go to a game, and come back here using public transit on the weekend now. So it's transforming the way we move across regions. But I also want to give Matt a chance to speak to what this really means for the community, and one of the reasons that we really pushed this forward with Michael's support, getting it to where we are today.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I would say from a local perspective, and the minister mentioned it, on the amount of communities around Stratford will feed into this station. Michael Lindsay already mentioned they're projecting 16,000 potentially at this site, and I agree with Michael Lindsay. The only way is up from here for ridership. I heard it from the community, I heard it from council and the mayor on the need for rail transit, but specifically GO Transit. And I will say it is on the Kitchener line, it is stopping on those stops, and those stops on the weekend can also come this way. People have already texted me, because the news release was out, of like in Guelph and Kitchener, like, oh, we can come to Stratford with the GO train now, so on the weekend. And so there's that ability there along that corridor for those people to visit as well. And so I think it's really great for commuters, students, and obviously for our local tourism sector. Thank you.
And I'll jump in as well. I have to remind people here that this isn't the only investment of the province here with regards to transit. Whether it's Stratford Transit, PC Connect largely relies on what the province brings to us. But I want to go back to the PC Connect. I refer to that frequently as the first mile, last mile, as we bring individuals in from the peripheries to Stratford, and then now to GO, or whatever choice of next transit they want. So it is a reflection of our residents saying, within our municipality and beyond, saying we need a better opportunity to move to the or get to the GTA. So it's been one of my largest files, and it's been resident driven.
Just a quick
Sorry, sir, just to round out the answer to the question, what technically made this possible probably is also noteworthy. I'd point at two things, the first of which is the agreement in principle that Minister Sarkaria and the government signed with CN to ultimately allow for even greater traffic on the Kitchener line through the purchase of the Halton subdivision. You all saw a live fire example of how we coordinate with CN here today as we pulled this train in. That's them being, as they should be, as we are, very cautious about triggering the level crossings that are just down the road. That kind of collaboration, coordination, and partnership has made this possible, as has our partnership with Via Rail, who serves this community and who have been in discussion with us about what kind of services we could offer that complement one another to this city. So those are the two technical things that made this possible.
And for my follow-up question, because you said that this train will be in effect around in the summer, what would be sort of the weekly schedule? Would it run through like all 7 days of the week, just to kind of like a refresher for like people to know like what the schedule might look like once it's in effect?
Yes, sir. Starting July 6th, a service every day of the week, and to reiterate the point, a permanent service every day of the week that won't go away.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alex Hunt with Stratford Today. We've seen some serious incidents across the GO Transit network in 2026. What patterns is the ministry identifying, and what is being done to address those issues and prevent those incidents from happening in the future with this huge investment?
Appreciate the question. And as I said yesterday at the tunnel boring announcement of the Ontario line, I'm actually very pleased that the public discussion is increasingly focused on issues of rail safety. It is something that we all should be having a conversation about. Look, a couple of incidents that definitely were standard maintenance types of things that we deal with, whether it's our geometry trains finding wide gauge conditions and therefore unplanned maintenance has to happen, as occurred on the Pearson subdivision. But also, for sure, the derailment that we had in early February after a pretty bitter and very snowy Canadian winter taught us a lot about not only how we work with third parties to ensure the safety and reliability of track and all assets that we maintain, but also, frankly, how we talk to customers about those disruptions. I'm proud of our safety record. I'm proud of our on-time performance record. I certainly think that they compare favorably to almost any other commuter railway in North America. But it's definitely fair to say that while we're proud, we're never satisfied. And I think the right public discussion, and I hope the right details are coming forward from Metrolinx about how we intend to do this better. It starts, first and foremost, with making sure that we have the right amount to invest in state of good repair and asset maintenance and modernization and expansion. And there I have to credit the provincial government of Ontario, who has invested not only in modernization and enhancement of service, but frankly also in making sure that this 110-year-old infrastructure that we run on, which was built for freight and not passengers, is being adequately maintained.
Appreciate that. No follow-up. Thanks.
That concludes today's press conference.